Have you ever felt like you were living your life according to invisible rules, ones you never agreed to, but somehow feel bound by? Have you ever struggled with self-doubt, fear of judgment, or the need to seek approval? What if I told you that most of your suffering, insecurities, and emotional wounds are not entirely your fault, but the result of deeply ingrained beliefs that were imposed upon you before you even had the ability to question them? From the moment we are born, we inherit a world full of expectations, rules, and belief systems created by those who came before us. Our parents, teachers, religious institutions, and society as a whole teach us what is right and wrong, good and bad, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions in ways we rarely stop to examine. We are conditioned, domesticated, to fit within this system, learning that our worth depends on how well we conform. But what if we could break free? What if we could unlearn the limiting beliefs that cause us suffering and replace them with new ones? Agreements that empower us, liberate us, and allow us to live with love, joy, and authenticity. This is what Don Miguel Ruiz offers in The Four Agreements, a profound yet simple guide based on the ancient wisdom of the Toltecs, a civilization known for their deep spiritual knowledge and mastery of the human experience. Ruiz distills this wisdom into 4 fundamental agreements that, when practiced, can free you from the illusions that hold you back, allowing you to reclaim your personal power and create a life of true happiness. But before we dive into these powerful agreements, we must first understand how we became prisoners of our own minds. Domestication and the dream of the planet. From childhood, we are shaped by the process of domestication, a term Ruiz uses to describe how society conditions us to accept certain beliefs and behaviors. Much like animals are trained to follow commands, we are trained to obey the rules of our culture. When we behave in a way that pleases others, we are rewarded with love, approval, and praise. When we break the rules, we are punished through criticism, rejection, or even emotional withdrawal. To avoid this pain, we learn to suppress our authentic selves and conform to what is expected of us. Over time, we internalize these rules so deeply that we no longer need external punishment. Our own minds take over. We judge ourselves harshly when we fall short, criticize ourselves when we make mistakes, and carry guilt and shame for not being enough. Ruiz calls this the dream of the planet, the collective illusion that shapes our reality, keeping us trapped in fear, doubt, and self-judgment. But here's the truth: most of these beliefs were never truly ours to begin with. They were handed to us, programmed into us without our conscious agreement. And because of that, we have the power to rewrite them. This is where the 4 agreements come in. These 4 simple yet profound principles act as a code of conduct. 4. Breaking free from the limitations imposed on us and stepping into a life of personal freedom, peace, and joy. Let's explore them one by one. The first agreement: be impeccable with your word. Your word is the most powerful tool you have, but it can also be the most destructive. Think about it. Words shape our reality. They have the power to create or destroy, heal or wound, inspire or discourage. With words, we can build trust, express love, and uplift others. But with words, we can also spread fear, manipulate, and cause deep emotional pain. To be impeccable with your word means to speak with integrity, honesty, and love. It means using your words consciously, to tell the truth, to avoid gossip, and to never speak against yourself or others. Words as spells. The magic we don't realize. Where Casting Ruiz compares words to spells. Once spoken, they carry energy that affects those who hear them. A single cruel sentence can stay with someone for a lifetime. Imagine a parent telling a child, "You're so stupid, you'll never succeed." That child may grow up believing those words, allowing them to shape their identity. Self-talk is just as powerful. When you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," "I'm ugly," or "I'm a failure," you're casting a negative spell over your own life. But if you choose words of love, encouragement, and truth, you can transform your reality. Speak kindly to yourself and others. Use words to uplift, inspire, and empower. That is the power of being impeccable with your word. The second agreement: don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. It is a reflection of their own reality. Imagine someone insults you. Your instinct might be to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. But Ruiz teaches that other people's words and actions are not about you, they are about them. Each person sees the world through their own unique lens, shaped by their experiences, traumas, and beliefs. When someone lashes out, they are revealing their own pain, fears, and insecurities, not a truth about you. Why we take things personally, and how to stop when we take things personally, it's because we subconsciously agree with what is being said. If someone calls you worthless and you feel hurt, it's because a part of you believes it might be true. But when you know your worth, other people's opinions lose their power over you. If a stranger insults you on the street, do their words. Change who you are. No, their words reflect their own reality, not yours. If someone praises you, their compliment is based on their own values and perspective, not an absolute truth. By not taking anything personally, you become immune to external negativity. You stop seeking validation from others and start living from a place of inner strength. The key to emotional freedom. Once you master this agreement, you experience true freedom. No longer controlled by the opinions, judgments, or moods of others, you gain emotional independence. You realize that your happiness is within your control, not in the hands of anyone else. The third agreement: don't make assumptions. How often have you misunderstood a situation, misinterpreted someone's words, or believed something to be true, only to later realize you were completely wrong? How many times have you jumped to conclusions only to suffer unnecessary stress, anxiety, or heartbreak? Making assumptions is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. It leads to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and conflicts that could have easily been avoided. Ruiz teaches us that our minds are naturally wired to fill in the gaps when we lack information. Instead of asking questions or seeking clarification, we create stories in our minds. We assume we know what others are thinking. We assume they understand what we want. We assume their actions or words carry a certain meaning, often a negative one, without ever confirming if our assumptions are true. This pattern of assumption-based thinking causes pain in every aspect of our lives, our relationships, friendships, careers, and even the way we see ourselves. How assumptions create unnecessary suffering. Imagine these common situations. In a relationship, you assume your partner knows what you want for your birthday. They don't, and when the day comes, they don't give you what you expected. You feel hurt thinking they don't care, but in reality, they simply didn't know what you wanted. With friends, a close friend doesn't respond to your message. You assume they are upset with you. Your mind starts creating scenarios. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? You carry this anxiety, only to later find out they were simply busy. At work, your boss makes a vague comment about your performance. You assume it means you're doing a terrible job, leading to days of stress, when in reality, it was a neutral observation. Our minds are constantly filling in the blanks with assumptions, most of which are not based on truth. The key to overcoming assumptions: communication and clarity. The antidote to making assumptions is simple. Ask questions, seek understanding, and communicate openly. Instead of assuming what someone means, ask them directly. Can you clarify what you meant by that? Instead of assuming your partner knows what you need, express it clearly. I would love if we could spend some quality time together this weekend. Instead of assuming others are upset with you, check in with them. Hey, I noticed you've been quiet today. Is everything okay? When you stop making assumptions and start communicating, your relationships improve, your anxiety decreases, and your life becomes infinitely simpler and more peaceful. When in doubt, always seek clarity. Never be afraid to ask. The fourth agreement, always do your best. The fourth and final agreement is what ties everything together. No matter what you do, no matter what agreement you are practicing, always do your best. At first glance, this might seem obvious. Of course, we should do our best. But Ruiz offers a deeper understanding of what this truly means. Your best changes from moment to moment. One of the most important lessons of this agreement is that your best is not always the same. Some days, your best will be full of energy, passion, and enthusiasm. You will accomplish tasks with ease, engage in meaningful conversations, and feel deeply connected to life. Other days, your best may simply be getting through the day. Perhaps you're sick, exhausted, or emotionally drained. On these days, doing your best might mean just taking care of yourself and resting, and that's okay. Doing your best frees you from regret and guilt. Many of us spend time punishing ourselves for what we could have done better. I should have worked harder. I should have been a better friend. I should have handled that conversation differently. But here's the truth. At any given moment, you did the best you could with what you knew and how you felt at the time. When you accept this, you free yourself from unnecessary guilt, shame, and regret. Instead of dwelling on the past, you can move forward with peace, knowing that you always put forth your best effort in each situation. The beauty of progress, not perfection. This agreement reminds us that life is not about perfection. It's about progress. When you consistently do your best, you will naturally improve, grow, and evolve over time. Your best today will be different from your best a year from now, and that's part of the journey. If you're learning something new, don't strive for perfection, strive for effort. If you're healing from past wounds, be patient with yourself. If you're building a dream, show up every day and give what you can. As long as you give your best in each moment, you are succeeding. The Toltec Path to Freedom, breaking old agreements. By practicing these 4 agreements, you begin to break them. Old agreements that once controlled you, the beliefs that made you feel unworthy, afraid, or limited. But change is not easy. The mind will resist. It will try to pull you back into old habits, into the conditioning that has been ingrained in you since childhood. Breaking free requires awareness, effort, and commitment. The Toltecs believed that personal freedom is not given, it is earned. It is a daily practice, a choice you make every single day, a choice to speak truthfully and with love, a choice to not take things personally, a choice to seek clarity instead of making assumptions, a choice to give your best effort in each moment. As you practice these agreements, your life begins to change. You start to feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. You realize that the only limits you ever had were the ones placed on you by the old agreements you unknowingly followed. And now, you are free to create a new dream. The new dream, creating heaven on earth. When enough people awaken to these new agreements, the world itself begins to change. The world we live in today is built on fear, judgment, and control, a collective dream that tells us we are not enough, that we must seek approval, that we must suffer to be worthy. But imagine a different world, one where people speak truthfully, love unconditionally, and live without fear of judgment. This is the new dream. Ruiz reminds us that heaven and hell are not distant places we go to after death. They are states of being, created by our choices. When you live in self-doubt, guilt, and fear, you create hell in your own mind. When you live in love, authenticity, and peace, you create heaven within yourself and share it with the world. And the good news, you have the power to choose. Final words: the journey to true freedom. The journey to personal freedom is not about perfection, it is about awareness, choice, and transformation. Each day, you have the opportunity to practice these 4 agreements. Each moment, you have the power to reshape your reality. By embracing these principles, you reclaim your power. You break free from fear. You create a life of love, authenticity, and joy. And that, my friend, is the ultimate freedom. Call to action. Begin today. If you take one thing from this, let it be this: your beliefs are not set in stone. You have the power to rewrite them. Start today. Practice one agreement at a time. Observe how it changes you. With each step, you will move closer to the life you were always meant to live, one of true freedom, peace, and love.